What's going on, everybody? Good day to you. And what we're going to discuss today is the Space Force, the timeline, the ranks. Will it be the same names, or are they going to change it into something differente? I hope that is a word. Either way, let's get into it. All right, everybody, welcome back to Why I Joined. We're gonna be talking about the Space Force, but before, please like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, share with people, and this is probably gonna be like a part one, because this is still an ongoing thing. We're gonna talk about the Space Force. It is the 6th military service of the US. You have Navy, everybody else, and then you have Space Force, okay? Because you know, that's all that really matters at the end of the day, right? But it is quotes, and of course I always have my resources down in the description below. The U.S. Space Force is the 6th independent U.S. military service branch tasked with missions and operations in rapidly evolving space domain. As of June 2020, its headquarters has yet to be announced. If I was them, I would put their headquarters next to a place that's real great, like somewhere in Texas, next to like a Texas Roadhouse or a Cinnabon, because you can't go wrong. Trust me, if there's a Cinnabon and a Texas Roadhouse just about everywhere in the world, maybe a gelato as well, world peace, done right there. And free Wi-Fi. Then world peace is done. But going on from there, we're gonna go over the timeline. So there's a good amount of dates and all that based off of this, and then we're gonna go into everything else afterwards. But the signing of the law, 20 December 2019, which was part of the 2020 National Defense Authorization Act. And then President Trump, fun fact, he's still our president until they actually turn over in January. Just a fun fact, not trying to, shoot down anybody with any type of arrow, but just a heads up, January. Trump, in 18th of June 2018, they began planning for it. And fun fact, it became the first new military branch in over 70 years. Or if you like doing math, 73 years, ever since the, which branch? Air Force. Air Force was founded, in 1947. 47, if you know, you know. And I thought that was pretty cool. More of the timeline, 9 August 2018, Vice President and the Department of Defense made plans and created the Separate Combatant Command. And there, the Ford Space Force proposal was sent to Congress, and on the 1st of March 2019, it fell under the Air Force. So you have Space Force, you have Space Force, you have Air Force. So Space Force is under Air Force, same way that Marines are under the Department of the Navy. So no matter how much, Marines brag, but oh, we're better. Yeah, sure, of course you are. Yeah, of course you are. All love to the Marines, of course, all love to the Marines. Okay, so of course with this, you gotta have positions. I'm gonna keep that in there. With these positions, so of course, for the Navy, we have the MECPON, and they kind of had the same thing for the Space Force as well. And how we have like the SECNAV, Secretary of the Navy. In the Space Force, they have the Undersecretary of Air Force for Space. Is the best wording? I'll leave that to y'all. And it's a civilian position, and they answer to the Secretary of the Air Force, and they oversee the Space Force. So like a SECNAV in a sense, or a SECAF, Air Force. Yeah. Okay, but moving along, stuff like this, you need money for it. So of course they went down to Navy Fed, they got like a $10 billion loan with interest, about 20% interest. They'll pay that off in, I don't know, 80,000 years or something like that. And we're going from there. But the creation of the service, in all seriousness, $2 billion in 5 years. And they require over 15,000 personnel. And guess how many they have now? We'll get to that in a little bit. Now, the Space Force itself, it was activated 29th of August, 2019 by the Pentagon, and they also activated the U.S. Space Command. And the U.S. Combatant Command was led by Air Force General John Raymond. So, fun fact about that, that goes over the timeline of the activating process of it. And there's more to go into that, but that's where we're at so far in regards to timeline. So let's get into ranks. You're thinking, hey, Space Force, so I'm gonna be Spaceman Basic, Senior Spaceman, Super Spaceman. No, nope, not yet. The enlisted ranks is going to mirror the Air Force. It's still up for debate because there are some lawmakers that want it to be Navy ranks to help, distinguish who's who. Because if you have the same uniform on and oh, what are you? Oh, I'm a senior airman. Okay, cool. Air Force or Space Force? Oh, I'm Space Force. Oh, I didn't know because we wear the same uniform. So I can kind of understand that. They want it to be Navy rankings instead of, the same, but who knows? I'm pretty sure they'll change up the uniforms, but yet again, I don't know. I don't have let me get my glasses here. I don't have the $2 billion to come up with that decision. But moving on. So in regards to how many people are in there out of the 15,000, how many enlisted are there? There is one enlisted in there. Just one. So he's the one of one, EP, MP. He won't be a P, I'm pretty sure of that. So he's one of one. Eval game, crazy. I'm just gonna say that. Eval game is impeccable. But he's the one of one. And it is Command Master Sergeant Roger Toberman, who is the Senior Enlisted Advisor for the Space Force / Command Senior Enlisted Leader of Space Command. So Space Command and Space Force. The timeline that they wanted people to join was September of 2020. Mind you, this is December 7th. And I've been told there's been people that have been selected to join, but I don't really know the full process on that yet. So there will be an update to follow on that. And for the name, as I mentioned, is going to be the Air Force names for the time being. They have a timeline of when they want to come up with what the ranking structure is going to be, but there's still nothing set in stone yet. So as for now, E1 up to E9 with Air Force rankings. Okay, so what about the officer rankings? Of course, with the grades, you have the 01 to 3, which are the company, 4 to 6 field, and then 7 on up with his general. And if the enlisted mirrors the enlisted for the Air Force, same thing for the Air Force. Just letting you know, same thing for the Air Force. But the final numbers, out of 15,000, they have 86. Thank you, Ice Machine. You have 1 enlisted and 85 officers. So, yeah, they have 86 for the time being. More coming, I'm sure of it. And the latest article as of the 4th of December, which is just a couple days ago, just goes over what I kind of mentioned already. They want to use Navy ranks, and they're encouraged to make decisions to historic rank structures. So who knows, they could possibly come up with their own ranking structures like Spaceman, Super Spaceman, Super Saiyan Man, Super Saiya Man, Super Saiyan Blue. I highly doubt they'll say Super Saiyan Blue. If they did, then sign me up. Are y'all hiring? And like I mentioned, with the better distinguishment with the uniforms and the ranking structures. And last but not least, on their website, which I went to, and which I think is pretty dope, it says the sky is not the limit, United States Space Force. Meaning, will you be able to operate in space? Who knows? I would like to think so, because it is Space Force. Kind of like if you're Navy, you're out at sea, but there's certain jobs that, you're not at sea, but who knows? And just scrolling through the website, I did a screenshot, which I'll have right there on the door. And it has certain jobs up there. So I'm like, oh man, that's pretty cool. That's pretty dope. And just looking at what they had, and it's not many jobs, but I'm pretty sure those jobs are gonna go over from the Air Force to the Space Force. And I counted them. And for the jobs, I counted 5 officer jobs and 12 enlisted jobs. And that was about it. And I know I kind of went over my 10 minutes, but that's what I have so far. So in closing, we went over the timeline for the Space Force, the ranking structure in a sense, which is still going to stay Air Force. There's only one enlisted person. He's the 1 of 1 EP, or however y'all count, your number 1 enlisted sailor in your different branches. And there's 85 officers. They're going to keep the Air Force ranks. You already know how many people they need to join. And the process is slowly starting. And that's about it. So a good takeaway from this, of course, talk to your recruiters. If you're in the Air Force and you know some more about this, or you know more about what I just said, please hit me up. I'm interested in knowing. The website was pretty cool. It's like, if you want to know more, sign up. So I signed up just to get more information. And if I find out that I'm going to Air Force boot camp, I'll let y'all know as well. I'm pretty sure that won't happen. But that's all I have for the time being. Thank you for your time and have a great day, you future spacemen. Spacemen. I'll stop.